Hey guys, welcome to the channel, Sonny here, and today we have an absolute giga patch. Most importantly, finally we got the second week of Warrior nerfs. I'm not memeing, but it's Sogware, so it's somewhat justified. But it's a huge patch. This patch will all be out live servers on Thursday. Today it's Friday. It's the Global Lab. We cover this live at twitch.tv/Perceptions Prime. Come tune in. And this is going to be the TLDR read-through. It's huge. There's so many great things here. So let's get to it. And again, all of this should be live next maintenance. So first off, there is thankfully more class balance. They're not done with the class balancing, it seems. That's always great. Hopefully next week, more and more, right? We want them to actually sort out especially PvE balance. But there's also some PvP stuff here. So Sogware is catching the nerf this week. It's getting a couple percentage of nerfs on all the damage. Basically, that's all there is to it. Pretty much the Awakened Warrior treatment from last week. However, there's also two other classes catching these PvE nerfs this week as well. So it looks a bit like they're trying to like find that balance, like high balance, but not new OP. Sorg is another one. It's also catching some damage PvE nerfs across the board. It's like 3% here and there, so it's probably like 3 to 5%-ish across the board. And there are some huge Ranger changes. Don't play the class, so I'm not 100% sure how all of these things will function, but I will read what their plan is with the changes, right? The plan is to reduce the complexity, especially of Awakening Ranger. I think a big thing is you see with the hardcore server now when you have these 4 classes and people sort of feel forced into playing different things. Awakened Ranger is very strong. It's an insane duelist, but the barrier of entry is just too high for most people. If you just jump on, you play a bit, a couple of hours every day, you don't really go out and practice, whatever. It's not as easy to jump on as Warrior and Zerker is. Like you see 90% of classes on there are Warrior Zerkers. Because they are the go-to choices. They're easy and relatively fast to pick up. So they are trying to ease that a bit on Awakening Ranger. They're making abilities flow way better together and stuff like that. For PvE on Zog, they are removing, I guess this goes for Awaken as well, they're removing the ranged DP threat, and then they're buffing the all DP threat up to 30. So this is what they did with Warrior as well. Well, Sogware, they nerfed Awakening straight up, but they removed the melee DR threat for Sogware and buffed the regular DR threat up to 30, and then Awakening just lost it. So they're doing that. They are also, all attack judgments have been changed to only allow one target to be hit, and some other, like, whatever here, some issues with damage being applied. And then some very, very big PvE damage buffs on several abilities. Solid damage buffs across the board. Is this enough to make it top tier? I don't know, especially at these new in-game spots where you do a ton of damage, like take a ton of damage. But much deserved PvE damage buffs on Zog. Now for Awakening, there is just a ton of stuff. A lot of this is linkage into each other, so it should be a lot smoother and intuitive to play the class. I did hear from one of my my like PvP Ranger main friends that this might be potentially a nerf to people that really know how to play it, but it should be a lot easier to pick up. That judgment is still out, so we'll have to wait and see. We've seen before people say something as a nerf turns out to be a buff, right? It just has to change how you play a bit. But yeah, they added the DP threat, linkage. Here, you can only use this after Windsweep, removing cooldown. An iframe has been, while moving, has been added during the defense judgment of the skill. Most Awakening skills have been changed to activate when left clicking. A lot of these things just flows really, really well into each other. Cooldown changes as well. I think a few off here from 11 to 7 seconds. Defense reduction from 20 to 30, etc, etc. It should be a lot easier to pick up now. Again, cooldown reductions, things like that. You have to read through this. There's so much, and I don't know the details of how this affects the class. So link in the description as always, but also some big PvE damage buffs as well across the board. Also, Whirlwind is getting a 35% PvP crit. So there's some other cool stuff in here. Pretty solid damage buffs. Now, Archer is getting a PvE damage nerf. It got absolutely cracked numbers last week. I'm not surprised that it's taking a bit of a PvE hit. Yeah, across the board, just slight nerfs, basically getting the warrior treatment. On Assassin, I think the best way of describing the Assassin changes is a class rework. Succession Assassin is getting massive changes to the class and the dynamic of the class and the playstyle, I would say. So let's quickly try and cover the basics of it. The goal of this change is to make it more an assassin. This is for Succession. There's Awaken changes as well. So they are going to pretty much turn it into sort of like an Awakening Megu, where you float someone and you blow them up as an assassin with air attack. It's getting air attack damage buffs as well. So yeah, this is looking really insane. We went through them in detail, but I'll try to summarize here. So the higher damage of air attacks from users through floating. In addition, Defense Judgment Protections has been added to movement skills to increase stability and usability for movement. And then instead of skills for attacks, the Defense Judgment have changed to Forward Guard for a lot of the attacks. So again, the TLDRs, they're moving some of the sustained DPS from Clouds over to increased damage. It's getting huge damage buffs, like 10-15% PvP damage buffs on abilities. So it's being more burst damage. It has a bit more front guard damage abilities, but more super armor movement abilities. So you're moving around as an assassin, being protected, you're gonna land a float and you blow people up. It's looking absolutely disgusting. So they're removing Shadow Slash from being a prime, right? And you're getting this one here as a prime ability. It's a WRMP. So damage increases on this. That's now a prime version. They're also removing the explosion stuff on this one here. There's a massive rework on these abilities. This takes up like 5 pages of changes. If you're interested in this class, definitely check them out. But the TLDR is what I said. There are some huge changes though. Again, cooldown reductions here and everything. A massive thing. I believe this here is new. When learning the Sand Person skill, a minus 12% accuracy debuff is applied. And minus accuracy stacks with your plus evasion, right? So I don't think it has this already. Minus 12% is crazy. Plus the 9% evasion buff it has. Evasion seems to be so back. But it gets a new cool passive. See, so many things here. Iframe super armor has been added to using the ability. Tons of super armors on movement. Some super armors and damage ability to change to front guard, but it's still super protected all the way through. Now let me show you guys a new passive it's getting. See, again, cooldown reduction of 17 to it's just cracked. Okay. So this one here is changed to a passive, the Arch Trap. This is the block, the jump behind, where you do a block and you TP behind and you float. It's now a passive ability. I don't know if it's gonna work better or faster or whatever it is. You still have to left click after being hit, but it's not a separate skill. Right, some stamina reductions. Some super armor until activated, iframe disappeared, super armor, iframe super armor, like fully protected now on this stuff. Okay, let me show you guys this. The pain, the dot has been removed, and on here all evasion rate reduction has been removed. However, Knock of Paradise is a new passive. It changes to a passive skill, and whenever you use Sand Slash, Murder, Rigid Slash, Else Domain, Prime, Dune Slash, Domain Slash, Blade of the Cross, Dune Slash, Flow, Sand Slash, like almost the entire damage kit, right? Those abilities add a 33% healing reduction for 1 second. And it also gives you a 10% air attack buff for 5 seconds. So, yeah. It's a 1 second duration on the healing thread, but you're going to be using this when you're comboing. When you land that float and you're blowing people up, you get 10% air attack damage for huge nukes, and then you're also reducing their healing. This here is gonna be especially crazy for AOS, but realistically, this is gonna be cracked as well in open world PvP. And massive PvE damage buffs. And important to note here is the PvP numbers. So this one here, Hourglass, is getting 100% crit rate in PvP as well. So this will do more damage in PvP. I did the numbers on this one here. So huge PvE buff, but it's only a 1.3% PvP reduction. So this turns out to be almost 14% more PvP damage on top of the PvE buff, right? So massive PvP damage buffs as well across, well, this one maybe not, right? This one here, PvP damage increase. This one here is probably going to be PvP as well, right? There's a lot of PvP damage buffs here. Now, an important note about this is that 2 abilities lost the cloud. So you can't spawn the cloud on like 2 of the abilities now, so you will have less of these tornadoes, and that will obviously mean less of that sustained damage. I think you can still get the clouds, but not nearly as much. So they're moving the damage over to being on your abilities, which is also then great for the assassin style, where you land the CC and your abilities do more damage. You can really just burst down super hard. So interesting, this is what I mean. It's going to be borderline a class rework. You also get 100% crit rate on Apostle here for PvP. So interesting. I definitely feel like Sockhash is so back with this. It's going to be interesting to see how it actually plays when it comes out. But to me, this reads insanely strong. Next up is Awakening, where they're changing the flow here. Change the super arm effect is applied during the return movement when using the Hourglass technique. They also added Forward Guard to Dune Collapse. The cooldown of Sand Swap has reduced from 9 to 8 seconds, and the cooldown of Crash Collapse has been reduced from 7 to 6 seconds. So Awakening Hash also getting some love. I don't know if it's deserved. I think the class is so strong, but yep. Sock looks to be up big, very up big. Next up is, this is so crazy, guys. You won't believe this. They're actually addressing Shy and Nova. And just, they clearly understand the problem here, which is really, really cool. Huge WPA for acknowledging a big problem. So the TLDRs, in the current situation, it was judged that the importance of these 2 characters in Node Wars and Sieges was increasing. And it was becoming a necessity rather than a strategic choice to use these 2, Shy and Sock Nova. So they decided to change the way the 2 skills were used during battles. So they're talking specifically about the Bubble and the Nova Wall. Those are the 2 abilities being addressed here. So they finally nerfed them by buffing them. So the Shy Bubble no longer blocks ranged attacks. However, also the speed reduction within the area have been removed. However, you get 50% evasion buff to all allies in the bubble, and you get a minus 50% accuracy debuff to all enemies in the bubble. The cooldown is reduced from 5 to 4 minutes, and the AoE is bigger. So let's take a look at the Nova Wall. The Nova Wall is reduced from 4 to 3 minutes. If you use another skill when you're using the wall, it breaks. So you have to hold the wall. You can't do the wall and do other stuff. However, the damage achieved by the guard is reduced by 10, 20, 50 level dependent skills. And then on Succession, you get the following effects for 20 seconds. If you're Succession and use this wall right, I don't know whether it's able to move in a Dustweb battles, you can move with it, basically. Also, you get a 99% block bar protection. So any damage on your block is reduced by 99% damage when you do the wall on Succession. And It gives allies behind you 50 DP as well. Oh yeah, and you can move with it. So you can pop this, you see this huge wall, and you can walk with it and move with it. And it gives all your team members and allies right around you 50 DP as well. So yeah, these two classes were becoming too mandatory in large scale PvP. So now they made them even more mandatory, I guess. Yeah, a brown wall, yeah. This is crazy, dude. Okay, so that's, yep, that's what it is, right? That's what it is. Next up is Sage. Overtake, the ability to change direction after your skill has been improved, and the breakthrough bug where you didn't land a KD, I believe, has been fixed. So Awakening Sage is gonna be, it's gonna be so cracked in PvP. But yeah, they fixed the bug with the breakthrough flash. Right, that was the class changes for this week. Hopefully we get some more stuff next week. Hopefully they're not done. Okay, so yeah, if you guys are wondering for the class balance, hope you don't get buffed because then you get nerfed, and hope you get nerfed because apparently you get buffed. Good old PA balancing. Now let's get to some of the crazy stuff in here. Trust me, we're about to land some W's. We get the new Attraction 5-man dungeon coming out next maintenance, and if you guys are curious about this, we're gonna do a blind run. I will be streaming it right as maintenance is over. That's gonna be Thursday, the 27th at 2 p.m. Central European time. Me, Sethian, Devious, Kinjara, and Arian, we're gonna be streaming it, playing it. We're gonna go in blind, and we'll be running it. So if you guys wanna see that, tune in on the channel, link in the description, as always. So it's coming in, we can do it next week. And you go straight to the boss. No more killing all these mobs and missions. You just go straight in and you fight the boss. There's some stuff here, doesn't really matter. In normal difficulty is 300, 380. Elevated difficulty 330, 420, which is one we're going to be doing. The rewards we already saw last week. They are really freaking good. You can get the big box here gives you a Dibbo. It can give you Tauros, Ominous, and Dawn, and then all the Dibbos from Pry to Try. So you can't even get base, right? You can get a Try Dibbo out of these. There's also up to do, and these boxes are the ones you get with those, so you get other rewards as well. They're gonna be insanely good value. Right, and you have a first time mission where you can get double boxes. So definitely worth doing once you get on farm. And out of nowhere, RBF rework, and it's looking really good. I'll talk about the rewards. The rewards are way better than they are right now, but I don't think they're enough, and I think some of them needs huge buff. They're actually just worthless. But the actual system, everything is looking great. I'm very happy about this. So let's just go over the changes. First things first, it is a queue now. It is not ranked, but it's a queue system. And this is a massive positive because, think about it this way. Right now, let's say you have 20 people that want to do RBF, but they don't know. They look at the RBF, there's nobody in there. None of them joins in and wastes their time. They're gonna keep playing, doing something until they see an RBF is open. But who's gonna start it? No one. So even though an RBF could be ongoing, it isn't. This way here, you just queue up, and those other 20 people, well, they wanted to do as well. They queue up, boom, you get a game. So this is a huge W change. You queue up for this now. And also you can see the rewards here, 25 seals for a win, 10 for a loss, and the rewards are also changed what you get from the seals. Right, so you queue up now. In the beginning, there's only going to be Castle Ruins, thank God. They are working on changing, rebalancing Valencia to make it work for this as well, but on day one, it will only be Castle Ruins. Fuck yes. I love Castle Ruins. There's more changes as well. So you queue up, they're increasing penalties for people AFK. If you leave the match or if you AFK, you get hit with hard penalties that scale up. You get like banned out of being able to queue up and everything like that. So yeah, That's a W. They're actually increasing penalties of not playing and just like trying to leech. You see here, step 1, 3 minutes ban, 6, 10, 30, 1 hour, 3 hour, 24 hours. And also to drop down, you have to wait a long time, etc, etc. They're also changing the time, which is huge, especially for the rewards. Instead of being in 20 minutes rounds, it is 15 minutes rounds. So you can do 4 RBFs an hour instead of 3. And to enter an RBF, it is 3 minutes after, no longer 10 minutes. So you have to, if you want to play it in the RBF, you have to join in. When it's fresh, you have to play it, you're there, it's great. People are there from the beginning and not sitting waiting until there's 10 minutes left and then people join in. So that's going to be great. The max limit is changed, also max press from 60 to 40. I think that's good as well. 60 people in Castle Ruins is crazy. And one of the most important things that's been asked about for years now, the protection buff, damage reduction applies when your current health is below 50%, has been removed. The bonus HP upon entry has also been removed. You use your own gear, it's uncapped, but there are no special effects anymore that makes some builds crazy strong. This here is also a huge, like having these effects, it's a huge buff to geared people. Like getting free HP when you have 800 DR is a lot more than when you have 300 DR. Same with that DR effect, you can basically become immortal and stack if you have a lot of gear, right? So finally, huge W. Next up, the tokens are going to be in your integrated goods UI, and they're changing the rewards 25 and 10. So what can you get from this? You can get Dibos. So first off, these here needs to change. This should be like 30 tokens. Terrible value on those, right? You can also do 10 courage, 10 deep seas per week for 3 tokens. This is like, if you win, like 1 win gives you 25, right? So 10, again, it's like, this is really, really good value. If you can exchange some things like 1.7 bill or something like that an hour. These are great. The well attendees, they're good. All this is good. You also have the gold boxes and everything. So the TLDIs, 1 token is 10 million silver. So a win is 250 million silver. So if you win for an hour, that's 1 billion silver after tax, untaxed silver, if you're winning, right? Let's say you go 50-50, that's 700 million silver an hour in untaxed value. I think that's slightly too low, especially with the new, it should be a bit more. But that's also not factoring in the limited rewards, right? That's for the people that want to play 1,000 matches in a week and live in there. The problem is that these other rewards needs to be amped up. If you're buying these like limited rewards, you should be doing at least 2 bill an hour in RBF, at least for the limited. And then if you want to keep doing it and you want to farm it and all that, and you do 1 billion, I think that's okay. I think it's still a bit too low with the current state of silver making and everything in the game. Infinitely better than what it is. Now, these here have to change because 80 tokens is 800 million silver. Who is paying 800 million silver for a Debo accessory? Makes no sense. This should be like 30. Because like you might as well just get 800 million silver here, go buy one and have 200 million silver left over. Makes no sense. So hopefully they adjust these numbers a bit. I think the rewards needs a bit of a buff, but all in all, way better than it is and solid. And this ties into another thing that's coming down below, where this is actually going to be really, really nice. So you got the gold bars, they're removing the daily quests, right? So you just have the rewards and you have the daily rewards and all that. You can't do seasons anymore. The season RBF is gone, so now it's just regular RBF. And experience characters will be changed to not be able to use the red battlefield. I'm not sure what that is. But Guild League is also starting. And this is where like being able to mix Guild League in between queues and then do an RBF while you're waiting for your limit is going to be awesome. Oh, it's probably trials. Yeah, it's probably trials. Okay, so this here, great. I did not expect this. Guild League is starting already next maintenance March. For us, that would be 27. So Thursday the 27th, and it's gonna go until May 29th. And it's basically the same, except it's not. So they are adding the ability to queue up with 3 teams in your guild. Now, you're gonna have a main team, and then you're gonna have like backup team 1 and 2. The backup teams do not acquire points. Only the main team can get points for the guild ranking. So the other 2 teams are for fun teams. However, the thing I'm not 100% sure about is, can you queue up with a for fun team, or do you have to have like your initial team be the ranked team? I think that's how it's going to be. So like if you have enough to make 2 teams, then you can have 1 ranked and then for fun. If your guild only has one for 1 team, you can only have your ranked team playing, right? I think that's how it's going to be, but I'm not 100% sure about it. Now, the rank 1 teams, the main teams, are going to be prioritized fighting other rank 1 teams. Only in the case of not having another main team to fight will a main team be matched up against for fun team, or team 2 and 3, whatever you want to call them. And in that case, you can still get some points if you win on your main team. And you can also be matched up against your own guild teams, I think, if there's no matching to be done on the for fun teams. So that's kind of cool. Right, so here's the limits for the different teams, and they're also buffing the rewards. For winning, you're gonna be getting 500 million silver, and you can do 2 matches per hour, so that's gonna be 1 billion silver in raw silver per hour, plus the buffing perfumes. So you're gonna get 5 courage, 5 deep seas, 5 well tendies, 3 of the other well tendies, and then the things to make stronger buffs. For losing, you get 50 million more, I think, right? You get 150 mil at the moment. That's going to be 200 million silver on a loss. And you get double up on your other drops, your perfumes. So, pretty solid buffs. And the way I'm seeing this, where it could be a lot of fun for the people that want to do like just PvP, you still have the 1 match every half an hour, right? So let's say we queue up, we play a guild league. We're done in 15 minutes. We win, great. We cash out. Then we just go and we queue up. We do an RBF. Maximum 15 minutes there. Boom, we get out and we can rotate back into the next guild league fight. So for some guilds, I think it's going to be absolutely awesome being able to actually have some PvP filler in between your guild league matches. And the rewards are buffed quite significantly. So yeah, decent. Not gonna lie, kind of decent. I didn't expect this to come back already. I still really want them to buff the RBF, especially the Debo stuff. That's ludicrously bad value. Okay, some other W's on the hardcore server. No, still not any class additions, unfortunately. But they are getting rid of the stacking of the buffs. So we take that. There's also going to be a ranking UI being added where you can see the top ranked players for survival points, but also kills and deaths, etc. And it'll be updated every time you log out. There's also going to be a daily update on the list. So that's cool. They are now adding a mysterious warrior for Arkman. That's going to drop yellow and red grade accessories. And they are unlocking Arkman as well. So that's a bit further down, but Arkman now gets unlocked, so you can start doing Arkman on the hardcore server. They are also buffing the world bosses. They are removing the green accessories from world bosses. It's going to be a guaranteed blue accessory. And then that's basically it. They're just remove the green and move the blue accessory from random to guaranteed. They're doing that for both the bosses. They're also adding a note here whenever the boss spawns, when it shows on the map. So right now you get a warning and that he spawned, but you don't see where he is. And then suddenly he just pops up on the map. And now they're adding a warning when he shows on the map. They're also buffing the drop rate on the stuff from the ancient weapons. So now you can get your green gear way faster. They are buffing blue grade drops from Desert Naga, Chili Valley, and Crescents. And they're increasing survival points from Gahaz and Pilaku Prison. They're changing the map. It's going to be a 3-minute cooldown with a 3-minute duration. So you can't do shenanigans anymore. However, if you die, you can TP back pretty much right away. Great change. They're also adding like random map thingy. So you have different spawn points at all the places, so people can't camp the nodes the same. So you can end up spawning different places now at all the different areas. They're also adding the Firefly. Arcman is unlocking. Yeah, and they're adjusting the quest accordingly. And they're adding tokens here for bigger gold bars, so you don't have to spam 10,000 of the small ones. Mage Guardians no longer CC, and I don't know what that is. And then change so the special buff effects do not stack. Thank God, now please nerf the buffs as well, even more. They're changing names of the Lucky Pig Cave drops. That's just a name change. And some changes to the buff you get after killing the boss at the new grind spot, Osekia. Love that place, by the way. You get a buff that increases your clear speed for a couple minutes. They're fixing some bugs with that. Next up is an awesome change. The guild mission rework. It's so good. This is so good. It's finally in. I guess I'll try to do the TLDR. They are unifying quests. So you no longer have quests to kill, to get boss scrolls and then quests to get silver. They are combined and they are giga buffed in value. As you can see here, 60, 80, 720, there's a list below of all of them. You can get up to like 200 million silver for a kill quest. And you also get the scrolls to summon. They unified the scrolls as well. So you can choose which spots you want to summon with the scrolls. You don't get different fragments. It's just one unified fragment, so you can choose which one you want. The UI is updated. There's no longer a turn-in time limit. So when you do the quest, right? You do the quest. And if you forget to turn it in, say a life skill quest, it doesn't matter. There's no time limit on it. So you're just chilling until you get to turn it in. Also, there's no longer a 10-minute cooldown after you do a quest, so you can do a quest and pick up a new one right away. They are fixing or improving the UI, so you can go through the different stuff. You can see there's even filters on it as well. And yeah, they're like unified also. There's an entire list, you want to check them out. As you can see here, there's some big values. They go up to like 240 million silver for a quest, I believe. 10 minutes reduced, completions, yeah. Great stuff in there. If you want to check the details, check the link, yeah. Next up is Node War and Siege. Rebalancing because of all the PvE buffs and class changes, PvP buffs. They are adding a bit more survivability on the capped nodes. Still no 2-hour node wars, surely one day. On the construction method, Balance Serendia gets roughly 4% more DP. Medaya Valencia Stronghold Construction gets around 4.6% more tankiness, or DP. HP on Calcium Strongholds, so that's like the bases, by the way, the bases, right? In occupation mode, on Calcium Cradia, around 20% increase. And the vitality of Balance Serendia Strongholds in occupation, around 30%. And then the defense power of the Strongholds Medaya Valencia has been increased around 20% on occupation. Guild Elephants are capped on the damage they can take now. Damage does not exceed a certain attack power point. So they have capped damage they can take, however the max HP is reduced by 23%. Is this a buff? Is this a nerf? I have no idea. I hope it's a nerf. I hate elephants. They're also adding the Solar buffs. The characters are getting back in for rank 1 on their classes. And the battling UI has been improved to slow the previous scroll. Love to see it. Description at the bottom of the battle window has proved to be a little clearer, and left margin has been reduced. Also, when you're clicking the Oseka Hunting Ground, you can now path to the NPC for the quest. Also, when you're right-clicking on these like boss nodes, world bosses, grind spot, it will path you better to the actual location. And some small changes here, like basically changes in text and everything like that. So that's it, guys. Let me know what you think. Honestly, this is some pretty big stuff in here. Very happy for the RBF changes and Guild League being back, huge. Class changes continues. Fingers crossed for next week for your class. I'm rooting for you, dude. and gal, you got this next week, 100% for sure, maybe. But let me know what you guys think in the comment down below, and I'll see you all in the next one.